If you constantly struggle to stay on track during the holiday season and you end up gaining more weight than you expect, then this video is gonna be for you. The average American during the holiday season gains over 8 pounds of unwanted body fat. They think they're gonna start in January, but it just never happens, and they find themselves farther behind than they anticipate. In this video, I'm gonna share 4 of my major tips that I've used for all of my clients to not only stay on track, but actually see results during the holiday season. And these are the exact same strategies that have helped me do the same. My name is Trent Harrison. I run an online fitness coaching company called Ransom Bodies Training, and I specialize in helping men transform their lives in a healthy and sustainable way. The most common issue that I see across the board for men who go through the holiday season is a lack of time and a lack of proper planning. I'm gonna share the 4 ways that you can stay on track, even if your schedule is slam-packed, even if you love eating your favorite holiday foods. So when you get to January 1st, you're actually ahead of the game, not behind. You should not have to survive during this time. Just because in the past you've struggled doesn't mean you have to always struggle, and that doesn't mean that has to always be your story. Even for myself, I've had bad holiday seasons. I've had bad Christmas seasons. I've had a season where I've gained like 10 pounds, unwanted 10 pounds of body fat because I just didn't plan properly. And the truth is, most Americans are gonna go through the holiday season and they're gonna regret the decisions that they made. And they're going to have this ideology that they need to start in January. But the real men, the real people who are able to see results during this time are the ones that plan ahead of time. The number 1 thing you have to do, these are in no particular order, and you have to understand that the American diet, that the basic ways of eating were not conducive to your body and your goal. So when you go out to eat, when you go out to Christmas parties, when you have meetups with friends, you have Friendsgivings, you have Christmas parties you have to go to, you have work parties you have to go to, a lot of the foods you're gonna be exposed to and a lot of the different habits and rituals that a lot of people have are not gonna be conducive to what you wanna do. And so if you want to look like everyone else, then you have to act like everyone else. You have to wake up when everyone else does, you have to eat what they do, you have to drink what they drink, you have to watch what they watch. But if you want to look different, then you're going to have to act accordingly. You're going to have different habits. You have to live, eat, and train against the grain. You will be an outcast. And that's something you're going to have to live with. If you truly want to look differently than everyone else, you're going to have to live differently, right? You're going to have to be okay with being alone sometimes. There's going to be times where you're going to go out to Christmas parties and you're going to go out to different outings and events, and you're going to have to not care what people think. The biggest thing that I had to shift as I started to get into shape, as I started to transform my body, was not caring what other people think. If you care what other people think, if you eat according to what someone else is telling you to eat, it's going to be really difficult for you to not only get in shape, but stay in shape during the holiday season. And so you have to know that it's okay if people around you, if your friends, family, and coworkers don't truly understand the way you're currently eating. You have to be okay with that, right? Because if you don't, then you're just going to eat to please other people, and you're going to wake up the next day and regret the things that you ate. You're going to regret the decisions that you made. When I made this switch in my mind, I stopped caring what people think. I stopped caring if they didn't like that I didn't drink alcohol. I stopped caring if they didn't think I was weird because I wasn't eating all the cookies. When I switched that mindset and I was okay being the only person in the room that's not eating cake, and I was okay with being the only person in the room that's not throwing back margaritas, everything shifted for me. Because you might be good when you're at home and you're in a controlled environment, but what happens when you're not in a controlled environment? What happens when you don't have control of what food is on the table because you're at someone else's house? What happens when you have to say no to your favorite food because you're at a restaurant because you have specific fitness goals you're chasing after? So if you want to look like everyone else, then you can go and eat like everyone else. If you don't want to look like everyone else, you're gonna have to make hard decisions. You're gonna have to make sacrifices. But every time you make that sacrifice, it's gonna be worth it. I think the second thing you need to do is you need to understand that it's just one day. It's just one day. And so if you treat your favorite holiday as if it were only one day, you don't allow one bad day to turn into one bad week. You don't allow one bad meal to turn into 2 bad meals. You don't allow one missed workout to turn into 2 missed workouts. It's just one day. You give yourself that one free day, and then the next day you get back on track. The reason why you haven't been able to do this in the past is because you have an all or nothing mindset and approach. Your all or nothing approach and mindset is a reason why you can't stay on track during the holiday season. Because the second you fall off track, the second you have a bad decision or a lapse of judgment, you spiral out and you say, oh, whatever, it doesn't matter. I missed one workout, I'm not gonna get a workout this week. You think that just because you can't get a 60-minute workout in, that doesn't mean you can't get a 30-minute workout in. And so you have to remember, 1 is always better than 0. And so during the holiday season, even if you can't get to the gym as many times as you would like, even if you can't meal prep as frequently as you normally do, even if you can't track your food as often as you would like to, 1 is better than 0. So if you can only get to the gym for 30 minutes because your schedule is so slammed and busy, then get to the gym for 30 minutes. It's about the habit, it's about the consistency. If you can't eat healthy every single day during the next 2 months, then eat healthy as many days as you can. You have to break free of your all or nothing mindset and approach, because that's gonna hold you back from seeing the results that you want. And so remember that it's only one day. If you truly were to break down the holidays during the months of November and December, it comes down to this: Thanksgiving, Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, New Year's Eve. Let's throw in a couple of extra days just to give you some wiggle room. So let's say you have 6 days of 60-day time frame where you have events, you have things going on. That's still 90% of the time that you have to be able to control if you're gonna stay on track or not. If you are 90% compliant in anything in life, you're gonna win. You're gonna be successful. But the truth is, because of your all or nothing approach and mindset, those 6 days that you have over a 2-month time frame destroy and self-sabotage the rest of the months. And so instead of looking at it like, oh, it's the holiday season, it's not a season. All it is it's a couple of days. Enjoy yourself on those couple of days. That's exactly what I'm gonna do. And then on the days that you have control of, those other 90%, that's when you win. That's when you lock in. The third thing, put those carbs to use. And so what I like to do is on the holiday itself or the day after, one of the two, I will absolutely non-negotiably work out. Put the food to use. Never allow 1 missed workout to turn into 2 missed workouts. So let's say you have Thanksgiving Day. Instead of just sitting on the couch and watching football all day, spend an hour of that day working out, getting active. It might not even be going to the gym. It might just be getting your 10,000 steps in. Or let's say you can't get a workout in the day of, make it mandatory that the next day you're in there and you're getting active and you're moving. Because if you're not moving, then all that's gonna happen is those extra calories are not gonna be put to use. Utilize those extra calories as the fuel that you need. And so what I like to do is after every single holiday, I'll always get a hard workout in. When you deplete your muscles of glycogen like that, it helps fuel your body because now you're in the recovery process. But when you're sitting around on the couch all day and you're eating more food than you normally do, that's when you have a recipe for disaster. So make sure you move your body. Stay as active as possible. Even if it's not a full workout, it's totally cool. The fourth thing, and so if you're eating a lot of calories and then you're drinking a lot of extra calories, guess what? That's gonna be a recipe for disaster, especially for 2 full months of the year. So instead, what I like to do is I like to limit my liquid calories. So let's say you do like alcohol, no problem. Just make sure it's limited. Limit liquid calories, limit the eggnog, limit the beer, limit the wine. Doesn't mean you can't have it, but you gotta limit it. And then also be careful with the extras. And so let's say on Thanksgiving Day, there's a bunch of chips, there's a bunch of bread, there's a bunch of desserts laying around. Instead of wasting a lot of extra calories on the things that you don't really care for and you're just mindlessly eating, how about you avoid those extras, the chips, the bread, the desserts that you don't need, the extras that aren't really that big of a deal, don't really matter to you, and you spend the bulk of your calories, the majority of the calories you should be eating on the actual meal itself. Because I really believe that the calories that hurt people during the holidays is not just the turkey and the main courses, but it's the extras. It's the alcohol, it's the chips, it's the bread, it's the things that you don't really care for, but you just mindlessly eat. And so instead of mindlessly eating on these holidays, be mindful of what you're putting on your plate and be mindful of what you're putting into your mouth. Because when you're mindful, then you wake up the next day and you don't have that guilt, you don't have that shame on the foods that you ate. And when you don't have the guilt, you don't have the shame, you're able to jump right back into the swing of things. You don't take leftovers home, you just crush it the next day. And so the main thing you need to understand during this time frame of the holiday season is, yes, it's gonna be harder. Yes, it might be difficult. Yes, you're gonna have to make sacrifices, but you didn't sign up for this because it was easy. You know what I mean? Like, you didn't start a healthy lifestyle because you knew it was going to be easy. You knew it was going to require sacrifices, and you knew you're going to have to take different actions than other people. And those different actions really comes down to a different mindset and a different approach. And so as long as you are prepared, and as long as you understand that it's only a couple of days of the month, as long as you understand that you're never going to allow 1 bad meal, 1 missed workout to turn into 2, you're not going to allow your all or nothing mindset to stop you from from being consistent like you normally are, and you're gonna be brutally intentional with your time, with your effort, and your energy, you'll be fine. You're not gonna be like the 95% of Americans who gain 8 to 10 pounds over the holiday season. You're gonna be the 1% who loses 5 to 10 pounds over this holiday season. Because I know I am. I'll be one of those guys who's getting results and moving forward. And so I want that for you. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you got some value from this one. If you have any additional questions, what I want you to do is drop your questions in the comment section below. Make sure you like, save, and subscribe for future content. And if you want to work closely with me one-on-one and you want to learn more about what that would look like, fill out the link in the description below, and then I will reach out directly to you to see how I could best help. Have the best day of your entire life, and I'll see you on the next one.